feel that to build on, I guess, a little bit of what we were talking about where last time, where we feel like there's a theme going on: increase, progress, and growth. That is what 2019 is about. Many times we just feel like declaring that over people continually: increase, progress, and growth. God wants to bring his increase. He wants to bring his progress into people's lives. And also I felt like there was a declaration that God is giving more than enough. There is more than enough. There is a revelation to walk in of more than enough. God looks at you and sees that you are more than enough for him. And he also causes his more than enough. Christ in us, the hope of glory, he causes his more than enough to be made manifest. And it's almost like at times there's coming into an agreement with what God is saying, and an ability to allow God's more than enough. For whatever you're facing, for whatever is in your life, allow the more than enough that God has in you and for you to be made manifest. You know that we have, in Jesus, there is everything. And it's almost like a level of perspective that would be aware of the more than enough that God is already bringing to us. Hi, Pastor Steve, you're here with us. How's Griffith? How's it all going there? Wonderful to have you. And also, I felt like with that more than enough, that God was saying, in that, all things are possible. All things are possible to those who believe. And I feel like there's decorations and almost like a pulling down of the things that would oppose even that idea. The Bible says in 2 Corinthians that would pull down those strongholds that exalt themselves against the knowledge of God. And so anything that would even contradict, and even in our, sometimes there's a thought process, sometimes in our mind we wrestle, sometimes the enemy is bringing thoughts. And so we want to be aware of God is causing all things to be possible to those who believe. That's his promise.
And it's about renewing our mind. You know, our mind wants to tell us, no, that couldn't be possible. But the Bible tells us it is. So we've got to bring our mind to that new level of truth, that all things are possible. We may not know how it is, but God knows. And so that's, what we want to do. We want to be able to develop our mind and believe and have faith for those things that appear to be impossible. And so, Hebrews 11:6 says, without faith it's impossible to please God. So God wants us to please him. So he wants us to be that person of faith that will step out and trust him and say, well, I don't care what my mind says, I'm believing God. So my mind has to come into line with that. And Isaiah 1, it talks about, come and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord. And so it's about getting away from our circumstances and to that place where God can teach us his ways. Come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, and he will teach us his ways. So we learn the ways of God when we make a dedicated time and to really set aside that ourselves away from distractions. I know I'm easily distracted, and it frustrates me, and I'm sure it frustrates other people. You may not be like that, but I get like that, and I find that I've got to get away from those things that will distract me, and so that I can learn the ways of God and put myself in a position where I'm in that place to learn what does God want to teach me in this place at this time. What are the principles of God that I can take away and apply to my life, and that will help me to grow. And is it a financial thing? Is it something in my family? Is it some other area of life? What do I need to learn? What do I need to get away from to be able to learn the ways of God?
Yeah, and sometimes we can find ourselves, and I feel like there's people out there that you're hoping that God is in what you're doing. You're hoping that you're on track. You're hoping that you're hearing the voice of God and walking in what he has for you. But it almost there's a hesitancy and a confusion even that might come because there's almost a bit of a doubt and fear that comes that the enemy brings as well. And so I feel like God is saying in that as we allow his goodness, as we allow his truth to permeate, as we go from the circumstantial truth to that higher level of truth, go up into the mountain of the Lord and allow his ways to be established in us. And because he's already said his love for us is so great, his love for you is so great. And sometimes that word love can be a bit watered down, but in actual fact there's such power in his love, and he wants you to be able to walk in the awareness of his love, that he has the goodness, he has the more, he has the strategies, he has the more than enough in you. And what you're facing, God knows all about. And what he's building in you, he knows all about. So there's some things there that God's causing increased progress and growth. But in some ways, it's sometimes we can respond to that and have fear and doubt and actually want to run in the other direction. I know at times I have wanted to do that. But it's like as we embrace the fact that God is growing me in this and wanting to increase me in this, then we're going to find that we're going to be able to accept the love of God and able to accept the more than enough that God is in us. Christ in us is more than enough. I hope you can amen that today.
Yeah, so increased progress and growth. It's part of that process is putting ourselves in that position where we can increase, where we can grow and progress what's happening in our lives. And so, sometimes that's letting go of some things that we might want to hang on to. Sometimes it's getting out of our comfort zone so that we're in that position to be able to increase, in that position to be able to progress and to have growth come into our lives and into our circumstances, into whatever it is that we want to move forward in.
And with this theme that we felt for 2019, increased progress and growth, we felt there was like a honing in. God wants to hone in and bring breakthrough to people's finances. Do you need a financial breakthrough? Do you need an increase in progress and growth in your finances? Has God been speaking to you? Is there a promise about your finances? Is there a promise about, even for some of you, wealth creation and entrepreneurial? Is there a promise from God or prophecies that God has an abundance that you haven't quite stepped into? And we felt like that God wants to hone in on that and bring a breakthrough. We become aware actually only a few months ago that we've been in ministry and in business and in our own things for 25 years now, and we found that the principles of God, we've just walked out in them, and we've seen God always be faithful, and we realised, hang on, we might have some things that we could help others with, and we want to see other people break through, and we want to see other people come into an awareness of financial favour. And so because of that, because of this theme, we felt that we needed to run a one-day seminar called Building Business Strategies. And this will be about the principles, the spiritual principles, the faith principles of how to be aware of and open up the awareness of what God has for us financially, but also cause there's going to be a lot of practical element. We love bringing the practical. There's going to be a lot of workshopping. There's going to be some actual hands-on things that you can take away. And so this is the 25th of May, and we have them on our the events here on the Facebook here. You'll find the detail there for you. We hope to see you for that if you're someone that you feel God's really stirring you in the area of finances.